Episode 1 of The Gold Mafia.
We love the gangster lifestyle. You live by the gun, you die by the gun.
The biggest challenge Zimbabwe now faces is the gold mafia.
Al Jazeera's investigative unit infiltrates the rival gangs that control Africa's gold.
As long as you grease the wheels in Africa, there's no issue. Smuggling. That's what it is, smuggling.
All the paper trail is legitimate. It's not like somebody can question it.
Former members of the Gold Mafia speak exclusively to the I Unit.
The gold mafia is bigger than the government, bigger than any of the authorities.
What do you think is going to happen?
They kill you, don't they?
Exactly.
Undercover journalists pose as gangsters who want to launder more than $100 million.
It's black money. The funds are substantial.
The I Unit obtains thousands of confidential documents that expose how organized crime groups use gold to launder money.
You sold it to a refinery and the money got paid in the bank account. So it's very clean that way.
Once it's refined, it's practically brand new gold.
Good washing machine, right?
The money to be invested, it's not in the books in Hong Kong or China.
It is black money. The funds are substantial.
Is it 100 million? Is it 50 million? Is it 10 million? Is it 20 million? Is it
It's more than 100.
Okay.
Kamlesh Patni is one of Africa's most notorious gold dealers. He calls himself Brother Paul after founding his own church.
We try to move our money to find investment overseas.
Mr. Stanley leads the I Unit's undercover team. They're posing as gangsters who need to launder dirty cash from China.
It's very important to get the right person.
Yeah.
As a starting point. Right?
That's it, yeah.
We're going to give it to you in a very crude way. As a way of explanation, they're looking for a Hawala system.
Yes.
To get the money out.
Yeah, sure.
Johnny is posing as a black market trader, our Hawala man, who moves money across borders without using banks.
And the Hawala system is based on trust.
Trust.
And connections.
Yes.
But we don't get advice.
Base. Yeah. Infrastructure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
sure.
can invest in you.
Yeah, if you're...
Because you have all the connections.
Structure already.
if you have the trust...
Patni claims to have the trust of Africa's leaders.
Very beautiful, yeah. This is the president, Mugabe.
Oh,
This is me. I got the award as Lifetime Africa Achievement Award. This is Uganda.
That's you.
This is me.
Patni was made a peace ambassador by the Kenyan Council of Elders.
This is the president of Kenya, Kibaki. This is the king from Ivory Coast. This is the president of South Africa at that time, Zuma. That is, of course, the AU, Africa Union chairman at that time. You know him, the Libyan president, Gaddafi.
He crowned the Libyan leader, Muammar Gaddafi, as the King of Kings of Africa. After Gaddafi was killed, the pastor anointed Zimbabwe's President Mugabe as the King of Kings. Mugabe was dethroned in a military coup in 2017. His successor is Emerson Mnangagwa.
Today, we are witnessing the beginning of a new and unfolding democracy for our country.
President Mnangagwa is using a UN climate change conference to attract foreign investment.
Zimbabwe is open for business.
Oh,
His presidential envoy is also at the conference and agrees to meet undercover reporters.
Zimbabwe is like really open for business when we say these things. Okay.
He says he has the president's authority to make a deal with Mr. Stanley.
The name is plenipotentiary. Pleni simply means full, potential means power, so full power. That means I can sign contracts, I can sign treaties with the government without the president getting involved. And then they will be fine.
Hubert Angel is Zimbabwe's ambassador at large to Europe and the Americas. He's part of what we call the diplomatic mafia. He's also a self-proclaimed prophet. Angel leads the Good News Church, which has 15 branches around the world.
Woman with a tripped nerve.
He appears to heal the sick.
Yeah. It takes the power of God, but it takes somebody to believe for something to happen like this.
His prophecies include football scores from the English Premier League.
When it comes to football matches, I'm on TV, live TV, talking about it's going to be two, this one is going to score, this one is going to score, and it's live around the world.
Before a match plays, we'll tell you if it's draw. Today is what? West Ham versus Leicester City, right? I'm just hearing.
Both teams scored 2-2, just as Prophet Angel prophesied. Powered by the Holy Spirit, Hubert Angel.
We have the men of God working with us.
President Mnangagwa appointed Angel to one of the country's highest diplomatic posts.
He is my first ambassador at large assigned to promote Zimbabwe brand. We had to subject this young man to training in diplomacy. It's difficult to train a prophet. We were surprised that he did well.
Ambassador at large, I'm ambassador to 85 countries, but on the special envoy, I'm a representative of the president.
You are representing the president.
Yeah. So if you then look on paper, on that position, I'm number 2. And there's no position like that in the country. It was just one position that was never viewed in. And
It's created for you.
Yeah, it was created.
So one and only one.
Miss Sin is another undercover reporter. She's posing as Mr. Stanley's financial advisor.
We are the government.
Yeah.
So I can call the president now, not tomorrow, now, and put him on speaker. It's not an issue. The president's trying to create a legacy right now.
Yeah.
So it is the right time to strike now. And go like we're in.
Angel claims to foretell the destiny of Africa's leaders.
4 days before the Ghana presidential elections, Prophet Hubert Angel gave the word of the Lord declaring the outcome.
No, it's not the rejection of Muhammad. But he that is called Adonana shall remain in power. And you want to know what will happen in the election in Zimbabwe? How many times have I spoken about it? All I'm saying is don't...
Mnangagwa's win in 2018 is known in advance.
Political parties.
There's no point supporting the opposition.
Don't waste your time wearing all these t-shirts and regalia and meeting people at these conferences and these meetings. Just concentrate on Jesus and you waste your time.
Mnangagwa will also win Zimbabwe's next election. The deal to launder Mr. Stanley's money is safe.
Okay, let me just say, don't worry. You're the president. Don't worry about it. This president will be president until he dies. That's what that says in the law.
I get your word.
I was born in Africa. I was born in Kenya. Then I've been to nearly 80% of Africa.
Kamlesh Patni's rise to become a fixer for Africa's leaders begins in his homeland.
We had embargo on the country in 89, 90. It was dictatorship that time. It was single party. President Moi, Arap Moi.
Daniel Arap Moi refuses to hold free elections. In protest, Western donors block aid. Patni then has a chance encounter.
I was just 24 years old. I was buying a suit in Nairobi and I met Director of Intelligence. Then I told him about gold. I said, look, there's so much gold flowing through Kenya, but it's nothing Kenya is benefiting, it's not the world.
Patni tells the intelligence chief he has a solution.
I said, I can create 500 million, every year from this if you do a proper license of this gold. So he took me to President.
Wow.
So I became advisor to the president, President Moi. So then he gave, exclusivity.
Patni's company, Goldenberg International, is granted an exclusive license to export Kenyan gold. Instead, gold from what is now the Democratic Republic of Congo is smuggled into Kenya. He sells it abroad and receives a 35% commission from the government. In total, Patni pockets $600 million. It's shared with Arap Moi and the government officials who gave him the license.
Kamlesh Patni is a criminal mastermind, is the only word to describe him. He managed to implement a illicit gold money laundering scheme, which nearly took away over 10% of the Kenyan GDP in value.
I've written books on that. I'll give you the book. Yeah, I've written on how democracy should work. But of course, in '92, there was a lot of fights, riots in the street, and they wanted multi-party.
Patni has advice for Arap Moi. His money will buy support for the president and weaken the opposition.
Just make it multi-party. Because the money is with you, you'll still win. But just for the show. I helped the president to survive.
Arap Moi retires after 24 years as president.
Opposition came in, then they discovered me. They said, who is this young person who kept the president in power and win the election? Then they fought me.
Patni appears in court, charged with fraud. At one point, he seems to be ill. Years later, the trial collapses, and he's never convicted.
You're a thief! This guy's a thief! He stole billions of taxpayers' funds. Shame on you! Everybody stole billions and you went away. Huh? When a pastor up, you're a thief!
This is just going to enrage me, I know this. The Kenyan courts went after him for nearly 13 years. He was acquitted of all charges scot-free. He moved to Zimbabwe to reinvent himself, found new religion, started his own church.
Glory be to God. I'm the one who now again changed Zimbabwe. Today the country is where it is because of the efforts we put in. Otherwise the currency would be useless.
In 2008, hyperinflation ravages Zimbabwe's economy. The central bank prints notes valuing billions in local currency. Zimbabwe's financial collapse follows sanctions imposed by the United States and Europe. The West punishes Zimbabwe's leaders for rigging elections and imprisoning opposition politicians.
We believe that Zimbabwe should not be a part of the international financial system. That means that they can't transact in dollars, so you have to figure out other ways to do that. And the way to do that is to turn your currency, for example, into gold. Because then you can move across the border with gold and it's not hitting the international financial system at that point in Zimbabwe.
With gold, you can just shape shift. You can move the gold without someone tracking it. So for a lot of autocratic governments, it is, I think, a trend that makes sense. It's much harder to enforce sanctions around it.
Patney makes deals with Zimbabwe's sanctioned leaders, which he claims help its people.
Right now, they're quite, stable, they're happy, they are recovering well. Although they still, as usual, the influences are there. But the good thing is that the president listens.
I'm number 2 in gold.
Who is number 1?
It's an Indian guy.
Indian guy. Here.
Pastor Paul. He's just a thief. He almost put Kenya into liquidation. That's how big he is.
Patney's rival is Ewan Macmillan. He's a gold trader and smuggler, known as Mr. Gold.
My family owned this business we have, so it was me, I owned it 100%.
Okay.
And then I gave shares to my 2 brothers. I went to jail first time for gold when I was 21. And then I went to do a lot of prison in the 90s.
Zimbabwe's gold exports are worth up to $2 billion a year. It's a cash business.
There's a lot of cash that we need to get out of my home account because we don't want to leave it there.
Holy There is an opportunity, a hell of a big opportunity to wash money here. You can wash
That's
money.
what we're looking for.
You want US dollars in a bank account, which would be better to have a bank account in Dubai, US dollars. So then the best thing is to meet my partner from Dubai. And he knows how we do things here. And then he can help you with how you can bring the money here, no problem. I can give my partner gold in Dubai and he can just pay you anywhere in the world. So I need him to come up with a plan of how to wash your money. And he's clever. He washes money for the Russians.
Mr. Gold's partner in Dubai is ALLSTAR Matthias.
ALLSTAR.
Young guy, huh?
Matthias is also a gold trader. He's a financial architect who builds money laundering schemes for corrupt politicians.
Thank you for coming.
No. That's the thing. This is my partner from Dubai.
Yeah, Ewan was saying you helped the Russians.
Yes. No, shut up.
We want to make sure that the mechanism works.
Okay.
I've been doing it for about almost 13 years now, 14 years.
Matthias offers to launder Mr. Stanley's money through his gold trading network across Africa.
Ghana, I do one ton, so I do $40 million every month out of Ghana. This region, I do what? Probably about 500 to a ton again.
Yeah.
So I do roughly about $70-80 million every month. We can export from Zambia, I can export from South Africa.
We have a company in Zambia, Angola, Mozambique. We can export from anywhere.
We're in Zimbabwe, we're in Malawi, we're in Zambia, we're in DRC Congo, we're in Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda.
Patney is also based in Dubai.
Dubai is the headquarters. Dubai is the center for Africa. A banking center, financial center, it's tax-free. You don't need to have all the paper, too much.
Easier to do.
Yes, it's much easier. We have our own license clearing at Dubai Abroad. We have permission of the Central Bank of Dubai. We have permission of Reserve Bank. We have the money laundering clearance certificates. We'll show you all that. We'll show you.
That's what you need. All the paper already. So
we'll show you that.
So it's smooth. Because I think you have so many structures already. We can just join it.
So this one is being come via Dubai. So you can see our Dubai operation. That's where you'll understand the gold more. The one you want to do cash. When you see it physically, you see the process, then you will understand the security of it. Come and see my operations and my team in Dubai. I think God thanks. Sent you. God bless you.
Praise the Lord. Praise God. Bloody Kenyan. I don't know how, but him and I, we're the same. I do 200 kilos a week. That's what we do, buy and sell.
Macmillan and his rival gold dealer Patney work for the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, the country's central bank.
There's a Gold Act in Zimbabwe, which makes the central bank the overseer and control and official dealer of gold in Zimbabwe. The central bank was given that mandate because traditionally all currency has always been backed by the bullion.
Small-scale miners produce half of the country's gold. But Zimbabwe's central bank doesn't have enough money to buy gold from them.
I think that 80% of the gold mined in Zimbabwe gets smuggled out.
They said to me, go out and get all the gold that's being smuggled out the country.
Patney and Macmillan buy the gold on behalf of the central bank.
When a person comes to sell me gold, I don't have to write his name down. I don't have to do anything. I just take his gold, pay him, leaves. I deliver it to the government. Government asks me no questions.
We do 20 to 50 million in a week. This one is 3 million.
The gold is delivered to a company owned by Zimbabwe's Reserve Bank.
Fidelity Printers and Refiners Private Limited incorporates security and commercial printing, gold refining, buying operations, and a mission to provide printing solutions and gold products to satisfy diverse stakeholder needs.
Fidelity Printers and Refinery. So the printing aspect is obvious. They print government material. Their big service is the gold refinery.
In return for their services, Patney and Macmillan are given licenses to sell the gold abroad.
Like the license. See, like this is 2 million. We have account with Fidelity.
The competing mafias fly the gold to Dubai and sell it there. They bring the proceeds back to Zimbabwe in US dollars cash. The government needs US dollars because the local currency has no international value. The dollars buy more gold from the miners and fund further exports. The gold mafias use this scheme to launder money. They offer to help Mr. Stanley.
What would normally happen is we'd bank the gold, get the US dollars and fly it home to Zimbabwe.
Instead, Mr. Stanley is told to set up a gold trading company and bank account in Dubai. He can now get a license to import gold into the United Arab Emirates.
You're going to tell the bank that we're going to be trading in commodities or gold. The money will come to that account all the time.
They place clean money from the official sale of gold into Mr. Stanley's account.
You show that it's imported legally. You show that you sold it to a refinery and the money got paid in the bank account. It's very clean that way.
And now you have access to that money. That's your money. And then you're going to give us the US dollars cash from Hong Kong. We're going to come back with that.
Mr. Stanley's dirty money will be given to the gold mafia's couriers to bring to Zimbabwe. At Harare Airport, the dirty cash is declared as the proceeds from the sale of gold. Once declared, it is clean. Everything appears legal with the right paperwork.
There is one here. There is 1 million cash.
The proceeds of the gold export will, in effect, be counted twice. Declared as clean in Zimbabwe and in Dubai.
I bring back the cash. That's how I buy the gold again.
And the money laundering cycle starts all over again.
The only illegal thing is you giving me the US dollars out of Hong Kong. But they don't know that.
Yeah, it's extremely sad. It's extremely sad. We've got world-class deposits of gold, but we have nothing to show for it, thanks to people like Mr. Macmillan. The biggest challenge Zimbabwe now faces is the existential threat that comes from this mafia, the gold mafia.
Patney then offers another way to get Mr. Stanley's dirty cash from Hong Kong to Dubai.
There are two ways of this. One is a carry,
yes,
or second is hawala.
Hawala is sort of a catch-all term for an informal way to move money outside of banking channels. That is, in its essence, hawala.
Hawala usually involves financiers with close family or personal ties who swap funds and keep track on ledgers.
Hawala is an incredibly common money transfer system, and it works very simply. You have somebody in country A, and they get money from a customer.
Let's say you want to send $100.
In our case, Patney's Hong Kong agent would take Mr. Stanley's dirty $100 bill.
They will mark it on their ledger as money received. They'll send a message to their counterpart saying, "We received this money, please pay out the same amount."
Another member of Patney's Hawala operation in Dubai would pay Mr. Stanley $100.
So $100 isn't actually physically sent, but on the other end, there's sort of a settlement of accounts done.
The two Hawala agents balance their books over time as customers send money in both directions.
On the one hand, it is a legitimate mean, sometimes the only mean for economic migrants to move money, but it can also be used as a way for criminals and criminal enterprises to evade detection through the banking system.
You want a gold? You can make the call right now, and it's done with the president of Miners Association right this minute. Yeah, listen to this. Let me just call.
Henrietta Rushware heads Zimbabwe's Miners Federation. She's also the president's niece.
I've got my people here. Hey, shut up and listen. Let's talk business. Let's talk business. We'll talk about our stories later. Let's talk business. We want to just get gold. The other deals that we normally do with the people, like the one we did in Dubai, where they also want to invest in gold and buy gold, maybe send a private jet, picks up gold every week.
Perfect. No, that's okay. Let's do it, bro.
Oh, they're taking 100 kilos every week. Okay. Okay. But wow, how many? They're getting it at less 4%. Yeah.
Mr. Stanley is being offered to buy the gold at a 4% discount.
They're saying it's very good price. I think you should have said less 3%. Definitely, you should have said less 3%. It was a mistake in the language. Because that's the 1%, my 1%. You have just blown my 1%.
Rushware's plan will clean $5 million a week on a revolving basis. It begins with a payment of $10 million in dirty cash into the government's refinery Fidelity.
They bring in $10 million, $5 million million will be put into fidelity for the duration of their relationship. We get gold worth 5 million every week. We take it out, bring another 5 million.
This continues until all his cash is cleaned. Henrietta Rushwea's laundromat can wash even more of Mr. Stanley's dirty money.
So instead of bringing 20 million, 10 million, they put it to fidelity.
Half the sum remains with Fidelity. 5 million a week is laundered as before, and an additional $5 million will be cleaned through one of Rushwea's gold producers.
Then they give the other 5 million from the producer, who can actually add on to their weekly parcel that they take out.
Mr. Stanley can now launder $10 million a week.
You can easily open an account for them under one of your many companies. We are the only sector in the country that is paying in foreign exchange on cash basis.
All right. So when we finish, I'll call you again, then we talk. Hope you will be available.
Always available. You can see our messages also.
Thank you, sis.
The ambassador has a local partner in mind for Mr. Stanley.
It's called Billion Group that I own. He is also part of Billion Group. So Billion Group is in Zimbabwe, operating in Zimbabwe, so that when you want a venture, you don't go for someone you don't know.
Angel is in Glasgow with President Mnangagwa for the UN Climate Change Conference. Angel offers Mr. Stanley a meeting with the president.
We're working on your meeting with him. He's at the meeting right now, so we'll finish at around 7, 8, 9.
President.
Mnangagwa claims that sanctions hinder Zimbabwe's commitments to a greener economy.
The removal of the illegal sanctions imposed on my country will undoubtedly enhance the timely achievement of our commitments.
Sanctions limit the ability of Zimbabwe's politicians and state entities to trade.
This country has sanctions, so the country can't sell the gold anywhere in the world. So an individual can sell it because he doesn't have sanctions.
Macmillan has family ties to another businessman involved in assisting the government to break sanctions.
He bankrolls this whole country. He phones up the governor, the Reserve Bank governor. Hi, I want a meeting. Okay, fine. What time? Free at 11. I'm coming 11. Okay, fine.
He owns one of South Africa's largest cigarette manufacturers. He has a brand named after him. Simon Rudland runs his own mafia through his company Gold Leaf Tobacco. He's known as the boss.
He's massive. He is one mother, my friend. You have no idea how big he is.
Rudland exports more gold than Macmillan and Patney and has a different deal with the government. He's connected to Zimbabwe's ruling elite. His business partners include a retired general, a former sanctioned energy minister, and Mnangagwa's former Minister of Foreign Affairs. An ex-Minister of Mines buys a company from Rudland for over $800,000.
Simon Rudland, I know him 100%. He flew out the day before yesterday on a private charter.
Moses Nango works for South African Airways at Harare Airport. He offers to help the I-Unit's undercover team to smuggle gold.
I've been working at the airport for the last 23 years. I've been helping people to move gold. I've been helping people to move money. I've been helping people to move diamonds.
Moses describes how Rutland and his gold leaf mafia break sanctions on behalf of the Reserve Bank.
Simon Rutland has got a special deal.
What they do is once if they get the gold, they get the escort all the way to the airport.
They've got 3 to 5 people taking the shit out of the country.
They carry gold.
They give him the gold. He has a contract to move from Fidelity to Dubai.
They do rotations. At times there are 3 people at one flight, depending on the volume.
When they get by the security checkpoint, their bags are exempted to search.
They go with Emirates from Zimbabwe. It's EK714. That's the flight they leave with from Harare to Dubai.
They're normally traveling either business class or first class.
Someone has got serious buyers in Dubai already. Somebody's going to be waiting with the money.
The couriers exchange the bullion for cash and take the next flight back to Harare.
The same flight they left with, that's the same flight that they come back with. It's EK713 when it's leaving Dubai.
The couriers pass through immigration at Harare Airport.
They're all white. There's Kate Patrick.
Flight manifests show he makes the trip 13 times in 2 months. An I-Unit surveillance operation observes Rutland's couriers at work. Talmage George Alexander is spotted in a check shirt. He flies to Dubai 7 times in the same period. Terence Ian Keith is carrying a black briefcase. His name appears on flight manifests 9 times in 2 months. Airport officials are waiting in Harare.
Johannes Swan.
They greet Johannes Swan as he arrives. Johannes Swan Sr. and his son Johannes Jr. appear on flight records a total of 10 times.
There's Peter Bowen.
Peter Bowen travels 10 times during the same 2-month period. The I-Unit obtains a Reserve Bank document authorizing Peter Bowen to export over 66 kilos of gold from Zimbabwe to Dubai. The surveillance team follows him. Bowen lands in Dubai at 6:40 in the morning. He hands over the gold and waits in the airport lounge. Just 3 hours after he arrives, he's back on the plane.
When they get here to Harare, they just come outside by the arrival exit, hand over the cash, get another consignment, got on the same flight, going back again.
Rutland's couriers earn cash for Zimbabwe's leaders in breach of Western sanctions.
The government says to him, I've got 400 kilos to move to Dubai. Then he exports the gold to Dubai and then brings the money back and gives it to Fidelity.
The gold is sold to a Dubai company, Orlean Global Trading. Orlean is also part of Rutland's business empire. It receives millions of dollars from the accounts of Rutland's company, Gold Leaf Tobacco.
The government broke here, so they don't have enough money to buy the gold. So he says, okay, don't worry, I'll lend you the money to buy the gold.
Rutland finances the sanctions-busting operation by providing an advance payment to Fidelity.
He gives Fidelity the money to buy the gold for him to export. Fidelity's debt with him is, at any one time, 200 million, 250 million. That is huge.
I think we are losing about $1 billion in illegal gold exports, which is a euphemism for gold smuggling. I think we are losing about $1 billion, and Simon Rutland is at the center of that.
This is Dimitro.
Hello.
Undercover reporters meet one of Kamlesh Patni's couriers.
He's a guy from Zimbabwe. He's the one who flies.
Dmitro Abakamov travels regularly between Dubai and Harare. He's also a director of one of Patni's companies in Zimbabwe. Our surveillance team observes him at work in Harare Airport.
We have a lot of documentation to be allowed to handle this.
A letter from Fidelity to Dubai Customs names Dmitro and a relative of Patni as couriers. It authorizes his company, Susan General Trading, to carry $3 million cash a week into Zimbabwe. The Reserve Bank announces that Susan's jewelry and gold exports are the country's top US dollar earner.
Susan has developed a network that gives it financial clout, generating $168 million in 2020.
Susan's business is considered so valuable in generating hard cash for Zimbabwe that the government pays it a bonus worth 18% of its exports. But documents obtained by the I Unit reveal that it's all part of Patni's latest gold scam. We tracked down one of his former accountants.
He exports jewelry and gold bar to Dubai or rest of the world. In the exchange, he has to bring foreign currency to Jim. On paper, he's bringing money to Jim.
When Patni's couriers return to Harare from their Dubai trips, they declare their cash at the airport.
Anyone bringing currency has to declare at the airport with the form 47 that generally we call blue form.
Sometimes they're bringing some cash from there and they declare it, but amount is less.
Sammy worked at one of Patni's businesses in Harare. We've concealed his identity.
They're not declaring actual amount. They're bringing like 50,000, sometimes 100,000. But they declare as like 1 million and 2 million.
One blue form records Patni himself bringing $1.2 million in cash. The money is the proceeds of jewelry sold in Dubai. But Patni doesn't bring $1.2 million back to Zimbabwe.
They give bribe to the custom guy there. They tell them to stamp their blue form, put the amount there, that they are bringing 1.2 million, but actually he did not bring that 1.2 million amount.
Raj records the actual amount returned by Patni in his ledgers. Instead of $1.2 million, he brings less than 100,000.
We have officially declared at the airport. This is the airport declaration.
He leaves the bulk of the money from the sale of gold in Dubai.
Customer declaration.
The flight number, you can see that. Here.
Patney now has insufficient funds for the next round of gold buying. In order to keep his export license, he's required to buy gold from small-scale miners.
Now he need more money to buying gold in Harare. So he collect from market.
Patney makes up the shortfall from the Hawala market. He collects cash from Zimbabwean clients who want to send US dollars to Dubai. He uses their money to buy the gold, which is exported and sold as before. Patney claims his 18% commission from the Zimbabwean government. In Dubai, he pays his Hawala clients with the proceeds of the gold sale.
He collect that money, he get his commission, he paid them in Dubai.
The much-needed hard cash doesn't enter Zimbabwe's economy.
With the gold export, Kamlesh Patney pretending that he's helping the country with the foreign reserve. He's not bringing any foreign currency inside the country. He's taking all foreign reserve outside the country. So he's just making fool of the people around him, the government officials.
I'm not stupid. I have 2 degrees in finance. So I've done a lot, okay? I'm in the Forbes magazine. I've made the Forbes rich list of 2013. Yes. Yeah, Africa Forbes rich list.
Yeah.
And remember, I'm also a minister of the gospel.
Yeah. We will be the capital, the cash. Basically, we want to invest the money. Yeah. And what Mr. Stanley is saying is it's money that cannot be declared in the country of origin.
That we don't want to talk about.
But we have the blessing and it won't get us in trouble.
I did this, okay? This is what I told you, and we thought that. Okay. This is going to be how much?
At the beginning, at least 1 million something.
1 billion?
Yeah.
Now, we have done maybe for 200 million, 300 million, but we have not done for 1 billion per se.
Angel and his assistant take Mr. Stanley aside.
I'm the second largest diplomat in the country. Do you know I can carry him in a bag and nobody's allowed to touch his bag? I can carry him in a bag and nobody touches the bag. Right now I can put him in a bag like this with 1.2 billion and put a written diplomat. That's it.
He'll use his diplomatic cover to fly Mr. Stanley's $1.2 billion into Zimbabwe.
So it's a very, very easy thing. It will land in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe can't touch it. Yeah. Until I get to my house. Yeah. Yeah, you can understand.
Oh, okay.
So you can be a diplomatic player.
In episode 2 of The Gold Mafia, Simon Rudland needs a money launderer.
He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. He controls 90% of this government.
Then he finds one.
He's held up as this shadowy figure that controls money laundering in South Africa.
There was 15 million rand in cash in the houses, in suitcases.
And Mr. Stanley's meeting with President Mnangagwa comes at a price.
Because his time is so valuable, the facilitation fee will be $200,000.
Episode 2 of The Gold Mafia.
We love the gangster lifestyle. You live by the gun, you die by the gun.
The biggest challenge Zimbabwe now faces is the gold mafia.
Al Jazeera's investigative unit infiltrates the rival gangs that control Africa's gold.
As long as you grease the wheels in Africa, there's no issue.
Smuggling.
That's what it is, smuggling. All the paper trail is legitimate. It's not like somebody can question anything.
Former members of the Gold Mafia speak exclusively to the I Unit.
The Gold Mafia is bigger than the government, bigger than any of the authorities.
What do you think will happen?
They kill you, don't they?
Exactly.
Undercover journalists pose as gangsters who want to launder more than $100 million.
It is black money. The funds are substantial.
The I Unit obtains thousands of confidential documents that expose how organized crime groups use gold to launder money.
We've sold it to a refinery and the money got paid in the bank account. So it's very clean that way.
Once it's refined, it's practically brand new gold.
It's a good washing machine, right?
In this episode, a money launderer corrupts South Africa's banks.
He was CEO of that company without them knowing.
The day when I left him, there was 15 million in cash in the houses, in suitcases.
And meeting President Mnangagwa comes at a price.
You guys are going to have to pay a facilitation fee to be able to do that. The facilitation fee will be $200,000.
You have the demand. Zimbabwe's got the supply. And through the route that we are looking to move down now, all the doors are open. Green light everywhere.
Undercover reporters are offered the chance to launder money by a group close to the Zimbabwean president.
And we can move quickly. We have to move quickly.
Ricky Doolan is related by marriage to the head of what we call the diplomatic mafia. He's also known as Pastor Ricky. He preaches at an evangelical church in England.
Exodus 9. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Excuse me, sir, excuse me, ma'am.
Before they discuss business, Doolan makes sure no one is listening in.
He's the head of security. So he's going to take our phones, okay?
You want to take my phone?
Yeah, I'll just give him a... And it's just for security purposes.
Calls me, I need to.
Of course.
Mr. Stanley is the fictitious boss of the I Unit undercover team. He's a gangster who wants to launder hundreds of millions of dollars from China.
We want to be very clear. We are cash rich. It's embarrassing. It's not rich.
Good, I like embarrassing cash.
The problem is, and we want to all be clear,
absolutely,
this is black money. This is money which cannot be declared.
Okay. And what? Probably part of the reason you target in Africa.
Exactly.
Johnny is posing as a black market money trader, the Hawala man, who moves money across borders.
And we need jurisdictions which are not that rigid.
That's why you need this team of people to be involved. Simple.
Ricky lists the diplomatic mafia's chain of command.
So, during this conversation, we'll not mention names. I don't think we need to. Principal. You know what my principal is. We know who the number one is.
But just to be clear, your principal is the ambassador.
Correct.
Number one is
the
president.
Yeah.
Number one, Emerson Mnangagwa became Zimbabwe's president in 2017. The principal, Ambassador Hubert Angel, is one of the country's most senior diplomats. He's also a self-proclaimed prophet and founder of a church.
Discover the secrets to growing in the 5 dimensions of God's power.
Ricky Doolan is part of his show.
You were born in September. September.
Angel says he is all-knowing and all-seeing.
So I went into your refrigerator. I'm seeing your refrigerator now. Inside the refrigerator to your left, there is something written grilled beef, a pack of grilled beef. And on this side there are 3 tomatoes inside the refrigerator.
I think you know Africa. As long as you grease the wheels in Africa, you grease the wheels. There's no issue. There can't be no issue. And this protection is number one. Now the greasing of the wheels, we are going to figure that out ourselves, using this team to make sure that everybody's taken care of, everybody's happy, and things move without questions being asked. There is no way, it can never happen. How can questions be asked when these people are happy? They can't be.
Because the balance and
police, banks, customs.
This is the executive.
People who are not happy, other people who are not happy.
But this is the executive. This is the executive power.
Remember when you first called me and told me, and I said, Ricky, you need to understand, our money cannot.
You don't even need to say anything else.
Miss Sin is posing as Mr. Stanley's financial advisor.
Listen, work with me on everything. What I'm going to do is make sure that through these people, that this person knows everything. They're bringing in this amount, they're investing in this, they're doing this, and oh, very good, very good. Okay, no problem. Meaning that probably when you arrive at the airport on that private jet, you'll have a motorcade to take you to where you need to go.
It becomes legal.
More than legal. It becomes protected on the highest level, so that you are arriving as investors, not people trying to sneak things through the border. As soon as you arrive in that country, you're now treated as executives.
Well, that's what we're looking for.
Presidential executive. And it's a system that's secure. This system, it's the easy part. The things that you need facilitating can be facilitated 100%. Listen, everything will be done with this person's knowledge.
Number one.
Of course.
There is one demand.
Everybody's got to be benefiting.
The diplomatic mafia has already offered Mr. Stanley a laundry service.
This is Henrietta's project as the president of the Zimbabwe Miners Federation.
Henrietta Rushware plays a central role in the money laundering plan. She's related to the president. In episode 1 of The Gold Mafia, Rushware explained her scheme to Ricky's principal, Ambassador Angel. The plan involves using Mr. Stanley's dirty cash to buy equipment for gold miners in Zimbabwe.
Yeah,
so small.
So small. No helmet. Nothing. We're shoveling it with a spade. No digger, no drill, nothing. And what they're looking for is they're looking for investment that's going to make the gold process move faster, and then the return on your investment comes in gold, and it comes at a good return. That much I can say.
Once Stanley invests $10 million of dirty cash, the government keeps $5 million as a surety. Gold worth $5 million is flown abroad and sold every week. Stanley then tops up his investment with another $5 million in cash. The washing machine continues until all his dirty money is cleaned.
I'll pay him come in cash, I'll pay him go out gold.
And who's going to say anything about the gold? Exactly. Where did the gold come from? The ground. And this is what you can do. You can either keep your gold there in Zimbabwe, or you can fly it out to Dubai. No problem. Otherwise, everyone wants to know why, where, who, what. It's a good washing machine, right? No?
Anything you need to take out of the country, that is my area.
Cleopas Chidodo is a security manager at Harare Airport. He works for the Civil Aviation Authority and offers to help Mr. Stanley.
This is my 23rd year, 23 years. I'm at the airport. That's why I got promoted and now the big boss. You need to be telling me what you are carrying. It will also help in making some charges. Yes. If, for example, you are taking money, we need to know how much you are taking. Usually for money, it's about 5% of what you are taking. But if you are taking precious minerals, gold, diamond, the prices are up.
Undercover reporters say they plan to export gold through the airport, the proceeds of laundering Mr. Stanley's money in Zimbabwe.
There's a lot of gold going through the airport.
He will take care of whoever Mr. Stanley hires to smuggle the gold. The smuggler will contact Chidodo.
You might text me, you might say, arrived in the airport. Sometimes I might be in the CCTV. Like, when I ask him, how are you dressed? He might say, I've got a white t-shirt, what. And then I see him going to check in.
Chidodo's man at the scanner is bribed to look the other way.
I've told him how much he's going to get. If he sees something, he just pretends as if he's not seeing anything. My guy will tell me the bag is here. I will tell my guy, load it, get loaded. And then the guy is just coming like a normal passenger. He goes in, nobody talks to him. That's how it happens. There's no risk at all.
Alec Yassini is an experienced courier who's offering to be Mr. Stanley's gold smuggler. He works with Chidodo.
He's very cool, he's very steady. He's a Zimbabwean, he looks very innocent.
You tell me when to come through. I go straight with it. Then I take it to the plane. Then carry on. Through the security, yeah. So he's got his guys on the ground telling me, you can come now, or not now. And I come through when it's ready. I've done it. I've never had a problem. Never. For the past 8 years. Just like you were walking in the park.
If I see him, I don't even talk to him. Maybe we might call each other, then meet in town. If he's at the airport, I don't talk to him.
Chidodo can also deal with gold carried in hand luggage.
You come to immigration, they stamp your passport. From immigration, you come to my guys now. And then I tell you, come, but use a machine to your right. Where we remove shoes, bills, what. You put in the machine, they don't look at your bag because there will be arrangement between you and me. After that, you go into the departure lounge and then you sit. You wait for your plane.
No problem.
No problem. No problem.
Previously on the Gold Mafia, couriers delivered gold on flights from Zimbabwe to Dubai.
At times there are 3 people at one flight, depending with the volume they carry gold. When they get by the security checkpoint, their bags are exempted to search.
The I-Unit surveillance team tracks the couriers. They return with millions of dollars in cash, hand-carried in wheeled luggage. A secretive billionaire funds the operation.
Simon. Nothing happens without Simon. The money is ultimately Simon's.
Simon Rutland runs his own mafia, from money earned through his cigarette company, Gold Leaf Tobacco. He's known as the boss.
This country has sanctions. So the country can't sell the gold anywhere in the world. So an individual can sell it because he doesn't have sanctions. And he's the guy. Simon Rutland. Yeah, he's very big, eh? Huge.
Ewan McMillan is a Zimbabwean gold trader and smuggler. He's known as Mr. Gold and is a friend of Rutland.
I say to you, you have no idea the money this guy has.
Rutland sources tobacco from farms in Zimbabwe, and his company Gold Leaf Tobacco is one of the largest cigarette producers in the region. Rutland also makes a fortune selling cigarettes on the black market in South Africa. Gold Leaf Tobacco produces what are known as cheapies. It avoids paying government duties on these cigarettes, so they sell for much less than other brands.
He's an illicit cigarette trader. He's the biggest in South Africa. The illicit cigarette trade earns rand cash, so he gets a ginormous amount of rand cash. How does he legitimize it?
Cannot take it out.
He goes through the same problem what you're going through. He has the same problem of legitimizing his money as you have.
Rutland launders money from the sale of illicit cigarettes by exporting gold from Zimbabwe. The gold delivered by Rutland's couriers is sold to Orlean Global Trading in Dubai. Orlean has other dealings with Rutland. On this transfer alone, it receives nearly $3 million from the accounts of his cigarette manufacturer, Gold Leaf. Orlean is controlled by Rutland.
This is all Simon on the other side. Orlean, Simon Rutland, 100%. Orlean is a front company for gold, for the tobacco.
Daoud Khan once had a central role in laundering Rutland's dirty cash. He has left the gold mafia and is speaking exclusively to the I-Unit from a safe house.
So it's Simon laundering that money. Money that was not reported through the legitimate streams and needed to be moved.
The cache of files obtained by the I-Unit include photographs that have never been made public. One man features prominently.
He's a legendary figure. He's sort of spoken about in these sort of hushed tones that everybody wants to find, wants to locate, wants to discuss, wants to catch, wants to prosecute, or wants to use.
His pickups will be $1 million in profit a day, transferring to different countries, to different places, and he got all the connections to do that.
The documents pave a money trail that leads to the man in the photographs and his company PKSA. The cash from Rudland's illicit cigarette sales is funneled into the company. It sends the dirty money to Rudland's Dubai company, Orlean Global Trading. A ledger reveals that PKSA sends a series of payments to Orlean totaling $98 million. This bank transfer says the money is to fund Orlean to source gold. Orlean imports gold from Zimbabwe's central bank. One consignment of gold is worth $2.6 million. Orlean invoices PKSA for exactly the same amount. PKSA then sends more money to fund the next round of gold buying. Rudland's dirty money is now gold in Dubai, which he sells, and the money is clean. To avoid raising red flags at the banks, PKSA's money transfers are disguised as loans that Orlean will pay back.
The money never comes back. The money definitely never comes back.
They forge letters to show that the supposed loans are repaid into PKSA's account at ALLSTAR Bank.
I don't know if you've noticed on one of them. We hereby that PKSA Finance Pty Limited is a client of EBA Bank. ALLSTAR, but they're saying EBA Bank. For a bank to make that mistake, this document becomes null and void. It's definitely not money coming from overseas.
The director of PKSA is the person in the photographs.
Mohammed Khan is a person that will never use his name.
The documents include the name of a former business partner. We call him Jimmy.
Mohammed Khan is known for money laundering. If you need money going out of the country, you go to him. Mohammed Khan cleans the money, gets the money out of the country to foreign accounts.
Mohammed Khan's reputation grows as a money launderer for Southern Africa's elite. He becomes known by a nickname.
Mo Dollars.
Who is Mo Dollars?
I think that name makes him feel like he's a man.
And I've been told Mo Dollars is multiple different people.
He was a lavish spender. He took us on trips to Dubai, Hong Kong.
He does money laundering like big scale, big scale.
He's sort of held up as this sort of shadowy figure that controls money laundering in South Africa.
His weakness are women and fast cars. He's driving a Ferrari, buying a Lamborghini.
Wada Latif was married to Mo Dollars for 19 years.
The day when I left him, there was 15 million rand there. 15 million rand cash in the houses, in suitcases.
He needed power. That was the most important thing for Mohammed. Power and control over everyone.
Daoud Khan is Mo Dollars' brother.
We came from a very tough upbringing. We were always looked down upon in our upbringing. People always judged us because of the way we dressed or we didn't have food. It was just a survival game.
Mo Dollars then finds a way to make money. South Africa's exchange controls limit how much money can be sent abroad.
You've got infrastructure that's collapsing around you. You've got corruption at almost every level. Everyone that has money is trying to get out. Everyone that's got the finances is moving that money to offshore accounts in the millions.
Mo Dollars finds clients who want their money banked overseas. They drop cash at a store in a Johannesburg shopping centre. The store has 2 floors.
You had a bottom structure, selling blankets, buckets, brooms, mops, you name it, it was like a general trader. Upstairs was controlled access, and when you got upstairs, there were 4 to 5 individuals sitting as bank tellers, counting money. You would come in, they would run the money through machines, count the money, and give you a deposit slip. Like a legitimate bank, but it was not.
Mo Dollars divides the cash into small bundles and deposits them in the accounts of dozens of newly formed companies.
Those companies were made up with people's IDs that were stolen. He goes and opens up a company with the same person's ID.
Jimmy and Mo Dollars also buy identities.
The people that are suffering in the nights, we used to go out, tell them, okay, we're going to give you 5,000 or 10,000 a month. All you have to do is come with me. We're going to open up a company. We used to take him to the bank. We say, okay, we're going to open up a bank account.
They are given a cell phone, and the bank provides an online account.
The cell phone was taken away from them because we got the cell phone with the OTP PIN. The PIN number was changed on the banking app.
The accounts are all managed by Mo Dollars, and the funds are ready to be moved offshore. Mo Dollars firms PKSA and Salt Asset Management appear to make foreign currency payments on behalf of a South African business to an overseas supplier. The money is described to South Africa's Reserve Bank, which monitors these transactions as an advance payment for goods to be imported.
And when the money moves abroad, it's through an import advance payment, which is a particular reporting line you can use for the Reserve Bank. Every transaction abroad has to be reported to the Reserve Bank, and you have to give them a reason for why you are moving money abroad.
A store selling religious goods in Johannesburg is one of Mo Dollars' front companies for his advance payment scheme.
He unloaded money through that account. Ughlin Wasughlin is a very well-known business. It's run by father and son.
An invoice is sent to the store from a company in China for $167,000 of Islamic clothing. The invoice has been prepaid, and the goods will be supplied at a later date. But nothing is sent.
The quantities are astronomical. You wouldn't have space to actually store this. You wouldn't have enough people to even sell this to. It's a fake invoice.
The ploy involves an overseas supplier sending an invoice for goods. Mo Dollars pays using dirty money. But the invoice from the overseas supplier is fake. Both the sending and receiving accounts are controlled by Mo Dollars. No goods are imported, but dirty money is now clean in a foreign account. To the Reserve Bank, the deal looks like a normal business transaction.
Nothing was coming into the country. It's just all a front. Everything is just a front.
The import advance payment, it's a very useful technique for money launderers because you can justify the movement of funds out of the country without anything coming in just yet. So you can say, well, this is an advance payment, and it allows you to move the money abroad immediately, and then create a paper trail at your convenience at a later stage.
In a recorded meeting, Mo Dollars warns an associate not to take business from a rival money launderer. He describes his laundering method as merchanting.
Our thing is we do merchanting. That's it. It must stay that way. You promised us that nobody will do it. The moment you start doing merchanting for 2-3 people is a red flag.
Dawood is the author of the fake invoices.
In the office, we had a strong room. And in the strong room, we had boxes upon boxes of bank stamps. We had boxes of passports, we had boxes of ID documents. Mohammed would ask me to create the invoice for him. Getting prices, getting logos, creating the information. On an entire book of salt asset management, I can say 90% of the accounts that were on the book were hijacked.
I always advise the corrective. This cannot go in one basket. Yes. It goes. Yeah, it has to go in 20 directions. Like I always, like to have the eggs in different baskets.
Kamlesh Patni is a notorious international gold dealer. He's known as Brother Paul. He's offering to clean over $100 million of Mr. Stanley's dirty cash. He can conceal the money in his global businesses.
We can use our network. In UK, we have our jewelry, our hotel group, we've got our property companies. We have a justification for the money because we send it from our Dubai companies to London. And we have the financial records.
As Brother Paul, Patni presents himself as a church leader and philanthropist who runs a charity for the poor. The I-Unit traces one of Patni's former accountants.
In the starting, I think that this guy is very nice and he's always saying glory be to God and I am the man of the God.
But Patni's charity, called Hand of Hope, serves as a front for money laundering.
He started giving charity donation to the official people. He hid bribery in the form of the charity.
Raj keeps a ledger of Patni's bribes. It contains payments of university fees for the children of a key figure in a subsidiary of Zimbabwe's central bank.
The father's name is David Chirozivi.
David Chirozvi works for Orex, a jewelry manufacturer and part of the Reserve Bank. He's their head of finance. Patni's company, Susan General Trading, has a license from Orex. It allows the company to export gold and diamond jewelry. The deal includes a bonus payment from the government worth 18% of the export value. Patni's company also has a license to buy mined gold on behalf of the National Mint, Fidelity.
Kamlesh Patni every day deposit 80 kg gold, 100 kg gold. So it is the volume of the gold that he deposit there.
These licenses are supposed to increase Zimbabwe's production and sale of gold. But by design, they enrich Patni and the officials who approve them.
One guy is responsible for that gold sales. His name is Dubey. And Dubey is getting good benefit from Patni, 3,000 per month.
Dubey refers to Mehluleli Dubey. He was Fidelity Printers and Refiners head of gold operations.
And he also the signing authority for getting the license for sale and purchase.
Another name in Patney's ledger reveals his control over Fidelity. He makes monthly payments to F. Kun.
Frederick Kunaka subscribed him his name like F. Kun. He paid him 30,000 per month. Frederick Kunaka.
Frederick Kunaka was the general manager of Fidelity. Patney operates from a gated property in Borrowdale, a well-off suburb of Harare.
You know that Frederick Kunaka has come every time to his office at 299 Borrowdale. Every month. He got $30,000.
Kunaka's signature appears on all of Patney's gold trading licenses.
Frederick Kunaka is the one signing authority. He's the main guy who has to give them license to buying, selling gold, and any other license related to Fidelity. 3,000 for Mr. Dubey, 30,000 for Mr. Kunaka every month.
Would be the cost that we have to pay. Does that include the cost we have to pay everybody?
Yeah, of course.
Like, do I have to pay somebody in Fidelity for the paper, somebody in the airport?
Patney will charge $10 million to wash Mr. Stanley's dirty money. It's a package deal that includes the bribes.
Oh yeah, you get 10, you will get this.
And you will look after all the other people, so we don't have to bother.
It's not then your risk. Once you pass it into our hand, it's our risk.
Mo Dollar's money laundering operation is also built on bribery. He targets staff at Sasfin, a South African bank that caters for small businesses.
There was a couple of guys that used to come home Friday afternoons, after lunch, they get their money. So life was good, was Sasfin.
Once you get to know these individuals in the bank, Mohammedan would then meet with individuals, see what type of character you are, what's your needs. He's got a family, wife, kids. That's not enough money for him to enjoy life. So let's tell him, you look after us, you push through all our payments, no questions asked, on the specific company, and we'll match your salary every month in cash.
We used to give them holidays overseas and used to renovate their houses for them. They used to buy for their wives smart cars.
It's basically, how do we choke this person? If he's got something that we can use, how do we get it?
Mo Dollars instructs Daoud to send a payment request only when a certain employee arrives in the office.
Here's a payment that Mohammed's sending through to me, and he's asking me to send it to H only when he's in.
H refers to Hussein Shanara. He was in charge of Sasfin Bank's foreign exchange payments.
Mohammed and Hussein had a magnificent relationship. He would basically ensure that his staff is pushing through this work unquestioned. So he was like the most valuable tool or component, if I can put it that way, in Sasfin to ensure the success of the money being laundered.
Hussein Shanara sends an email to his boss asking to hire a candidate.
Hussein is nominating an individual that we will be able to control in the back office.
Despite concerns about his lack of qualifications, the bank hires Shanara's candidate.
Here's someone that we can easily rope in under our payroll, and we can ensure that we can utilize him for the services.
A ledger of Mo Dollars' company expenses logs monthly payments of 20,000 rand, roughly $1,600, to Hussein Shanara. He pays another Sasfin employee 40,000 rand per month.
Hussein was introduced to us by another individual by the name of Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall was the head of the new business, onboarding new customers. And there was one other individual that also became a massive headache in the beginning, Cheryl. Cheryl was the compliance manager. Eventually, all Cheryl wanted was a piece of the pie. Cheryl came onto the payroll.
She was paid $800 a month.
Whoever needs to be controlled, keep them under control, the problem will go away. And he did it only with money, bribery. He controlled the bank. He controlled it.
We were actually the executive management team of the Sasfin Forex processing department, if I can put it to you that way. Mohammed was CEO of that company, without them knowing.
Mo Dollars' payment ledger records bribes to employees at other banks too.
We had Videsh at ABSA open up accounts knowing that the individuals are not present in the room.
Videsh Siripad is a relationship executive for ABSA Bank. He's paid a monthly sum of 10,000 rand, $800.
He would get the compliance people to sign it off, have another representative sign the document, and claim that all the necessary compliancy boxes were ticked. I can make a phone call for you now to individuals in ABSA Bank that would put whatever you tell them to put on a letterhead for you, and they would stamp it.
An employee at Standard, the largest bank in South Africa, also receives monthly payments of 10,000 rand, or $800.
Vivian Naiker. He is a senior manager at the compliance division of Standard Bank South Africa. And he basically deals with all aspects of compliance within the bank on foreign transactions, and also is the key communicator to the South African Reserve Bank.
Naiker emails Mo Dollars using a pseudonym, Vic Grimes. He ensures that Mo Dollars' company formation receives approval from Standard Bank.
We would then provide him with the necessary documentation. He would by himself set up and complete the application. He would then submit it through to the Reserve Bank, get approval, which would allow us to facilitate payments without any scrutiny through any bank.
Let's talk about gold. And then number two, we talk about hotels. Why I want to talk about hotels is simple.
Ambassador Hubert Angel leads the diplomatic mafia. He calls himself a prophet. He says Mr. Stanley's dirty money can do more than buy gold.
Gold is easy, but there is no way to cut a ribbon. But they can get that.
Building a hotel would please President Mnangagwa.
The politician wants to open something. Yes. So if you go up there and say, I've got a physical thing I want to do also.
He wants a legacy. He wants a legacy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to say it without saying it. You're going to get more attention the moment you say, we want land for a hotel.
The ambassador has a location in mind.
The town of Victoria Falls is like what, maybe 30 meters long, the main street here. You think of that and we have the seventh wonder of the world in there and we've got visitors there. When you get to Victoria Falls, what you might need is land. And that land, the day we meet the president, is provided on the spot.
He's sold land to foreign investors before.
I did the deal for Royal Family of Sharjah. They needed 30,000 hectares. And I got on the spot. And the president said, yeah, let them fly in right now. I already have land for them.
Later, Doolan calls Miss Sin to discuss the undercover team's proposed meeting with President Mnangagwa.
Right now, the president is completely busy, but it can be made to happen because his time is so valuable. You guys are going to have to pay a facilitation fee so that we can facilitate the meeting. It's the only way that it will work. The facilitation fee will be $200,000.
Okay, Ricky, just so I am clear, it's like a donation, right? 200,000?
It's a facilitation fee.
Okay, and this will confirm the meeting?
Correct.
And this meeting is definitely with...
It will be with the number one, the president.
I used to do the money run because he couldn't trust anybody to pick up the money. The money came from the cigarette guys.
Mo Dollar's ex-wife picks up the profits he makes laundering for the Gold Leaf Mafia.
I pull in here, Dave will see there's a spot next to me, and then he will park next to me, come around, and then he will tell me, I got maybe 2-3 boxes. Then I say, okay, put everything in the boot. There's 2 or 3 boxes, then you know there's 1.2, 1.3 million coming in. The more money, the more adrenaline.
When Mohammed became rich, he made it known. He had money. When Gold Leaf Tobacco was on board, we started doing transactions from the early $100,000 upwards. Within a period of about 6 months, if not even shorter, we moved to $2 million, $3 million.
Mo Dollars hits the mother lode.
The biggest stuff I did was Gold Leaf.
Mohammed wouldn't be who he is without Simon.
Gold Leaf's boss, Simon Rudland, signs a letter authorizing Mo Dollar's company, Salt Asset Management, to act as Gold Leaf's agent and make payments to their overseas suppliers. The account has one purpose.
Gold Leaf Tobacco was opened specifically for the intention of money laundering and nothing else. This was pure greed by Mohammed and Simon Rudland. They knew the process worked. They had the capabilities in getting those payments done.
Dawood was responsible for creating credible but fake invoices that allow Mo Dollar's laundromat to move Gold Leaf's funds.
I needed to go and investigate prices on tobacco and chemicals and look at past records of Gold Leaf Tobacco and get that information and create invoices.
The fraud begins with instructions from Gold Leaf to settle the legitimate balance of payments owed to suppliers.
Gold Leaf Tobacco would phone me directly. They would forward me all the documentation directly. So I've received an email from Gold Leaf Tobacco, the finance department, with legitimate documents, I'm assuming, for a legitimate payment.
Before submitting it to Sasfin Bank, Dowd amends the email from Gold Leaf Tobacco to add another payment request to Simon Rudland's company, Orlean.
So we're going to piggyback off this original email, and we're going to include an additional transaction or transactions to this email.
In this one email, a payment of almost $2 million is made to Orlean Global Trading. An attached invoice reveals that this is a partial payment to Orlean for $14 million of Zimbabwean tobacco. But no tobacco is imported.
This Orlean 1 year is not legitimate. So this has been attached to the legitimate payment from GLT. Purely a disguise.
Vantage Leaf, based in Mauritius, is another company used to launder Gold Leaf's funds. It invoices for over $12 million of Zimbabwean tobacco.
So Vantage Leaf is one of the companies where we created the invoices. No goods, no services, purely just money laundering.
Belmont Valley charges nearly $16 million for tobacco. Payment is made to a Swiss bank account. Gold Leaf Tobacco makes payments against a $9 million invoice from a company in the United States, Liberty Gold.
100% fake. And I can tell you that with 100% certainty because I done that logo.
In his haste, Dowd misspells a word.
That address belongs to, I think, a shop in the United States. And I was given like an hour to get things together. It's a fraudulent company. It's fraudulent transactions.
While pushing through payments, Mo Dollars needs to cover his tracks. He pays Lulama Kene, an IT technician at Sasfin Bank, to wipe fraudulent transactions from the bank's digital system.
Lulama was instructed that with this Swift code, you need to go onto the mainframe of Sasfin's banking system and remove that entire transaction and any information related to that transaction.
The transfers are hidden from the South African Reserve Bank, which monitors banking fraud.
The Reserve Bank is going to look at their ledger and say, okay, the bank sent us all of this. Reserve Bank is going to believe Sasfin's spreadsheet.
While evidence of the bank transfers are wiped, the fraudulent transactions remain on the monthly statement. Dowd deletes them before he forwards the accounts to Gold Leaf Tobacco.
We scrubbed the fraudulent transactions off the statement. And by scrubbing, we basically recreated the Sasfin bank statement. The Sasfin logo is skewed. For me to basically keep record, I always tilted it slightly skewed and left it that way.
Gold Leaf's Sasfin account is Simon Rudland's laundromat for the profits from the illicit cigarette sales.
Gold Leaf Tobacco had the capability within Sasfin to move massive amounts of money. Not questioned, because you had the respective eyes in the bank overlooking the entire process. 99% of all GLT payments were money laundering, fraudulent transactions.
They move billions a month. Billions. Billion rands a month. Money with us was like water. It was, you open the tap, you get the water.
In episode 3, the heart of the Gold Leaf Mafia's operations in Dubai.
This is called Silver Protocol Towers. So now we are going to gold.
It all comes out of Dubai. It's all Dubai, 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 Dubai.
And a shooting shocks the gold mafia.
I mean, you got shot. And the guy reverses and follows the car. He just shot down the road.
Episode 3 of Gold Mafia.
We love the gangster lifestyle. You live by the gun, you die by the gun.
The biggest challenge Zimbabwe now faces is the gold mafia.
Al Jazeera's investigative unit infiltrates the rival gangs that control Africa's gold.
As long as you grease the wheels in Africa, there's no issue.
Smuggling. That's what it is, smuggling.
All the paper trail is legitimate. It's not like somebody can question it.
Former members of the gold mafia speak exclusively to the I unit.
The gold mafia is bigger than the government, bigger than any of the authorities.
What do you think is going to happen?
They kill you, don't they?
Exactly.
Undercover journalists pose as gangsters who want to launder more than $100 million.
It is black money. These funds are substantial.
The I unit obtains thousands of confidential documents that expose how organized crime groups use gold to launder money.
You sold it to a refinery and the money got paid in the bank account. So it's very clean that way.
Once it's refined, it's practically brand new gold.
A good washing machine, right?
In this episode, a gold mafia in Dubai helps the team launder money.
We make a company in Gold Tower. Then we open you an account. You know, we have influence with the funds.
Dubai is the most common denominator across the board where everybody wants funds.
They've set themselves up for being the middle of the gold trade, lax laws and no enforcement.
It all comes out of Dubai. All Dubai, 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 Dubai.
Now we are at Jumeirah Lake Towers, called GLG Free Zone.
The undercover team is in Dubai to visit a gold mafia boss. He wants to show them the corporate structure of his money laundering operation.
This is called Silver Protocol Towers. So now we are going to gold. You need a representative office in the gold tower.
The towers are for companies that trade in precious metals.
Everything to do with silver is this. Platinum is this.
Kamlesh Patni is a notorious gold dealer. He goes by the alias Brother Paul. He says there are benefits to operating out of Gold Tower.
Our security is higher. There's a lot of gold in this building. Maybe 3 tons, 4 tons. This is precious bullion.
This is yours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Precious.
Patni offers to store gold bought using dirty money at one of his trading companies.
So this is where our stuff will be?
Yes. Your storage can be here. You can keep the...
This is the gold.
Johnny is an undercover reporter posing as a black market money trader. The Hawala man, who sends money around the world without legal checks.
You can keep a lot of gold in it. So you can put like I think 400 kilos on the dough on it.
We can have somebody employed and to be working here.
Mr. Stanley leads the I-Unit's undercover team. He plays a gangster who needs to wash over $100 million in dirty cash from Hong Kong.
The keys are with you. You're here.
Mr. Stanley's money will be safe in Dubai.
All the regions is the police security. Yeah. Each and every office, each and every corridor, each and every room, each and every street is fully equipped with the cameras.
Patney takes Mr. Stanley to another of his companies at the Gold Souk in Old Dubai. Visa Gold and Bullion. Patney shows us the day's earnings.
Every day, 10 million, 5 million.
So this is the local dirham. How much is the dollar?
This is around 150,000.
The Gold Souk attracts international customers.
People from China, they will be seized.
This marketing station.
Yeah, that's the certification. It's one kilo.
Yeah.
Patney exports gold from Zimbabwe through his company Susan General Trading. The Zimbabwean government pays him an incentive to sell the gold overseas. Patney's companies in Dubai, like Golden Luxury and Visa, buy the gold from his companies in Zimbabwe.
So this is Zimbabwe, and you refine it here.
Zimbabwe is not yet purified.
He owns both the exporter and the importer. It's designed this way to enable him to launder money. The scheme to wash Mr. Stanley's cash would involve Patney receiving the dirty money plus a 10% commission. Patney will sell the gold he imports from Zimbabwe and pay the proceeds into a Dubai bank account set up for Mr. Stanley.
You collect the money,
yes,
the cash from Hong Kong,
yes,
bring it to Dubai.
Yes.
From Dubai, you take it to Harare.
Yes.
Mr. Stanley's dirty money, in the form of US dollars cash, will be sent to Zimbabwe. Arriving in Harare, it will be declared as the proceeds of gold exported by Patney's company, Susan General Trading.
With the form and declaration to Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe is all cash fine.
It will be declared clean in Zimbabwe, and Mr. Stanley will have clean money in a Dubai bank account. Everything will appear legal.
All the paper trail is legitimate. Sure. It's not like somebody can question or anything like that.
The gold from Zimbabwe will be sent to a Dubai refinery to be melted down again. The bars will be stamped with the refiner's hallmark, and the gold becomes a product of Dubai. This makes the gold easier to sell because it will no longer be associated with Zimbabwe and its sanctioned leaders.
In Zimbabwe, a small elite controls basically all natural resources, including gold. So the gold needs to be washed. Dubai has a long-standing role receiving gold of a dubious background, DRC, Sudan, and now they're turning towards Zimbabwe.
We send 50 kilo, 100 kilo now to this refinery, then they give us this. These are now called investment.
Gold that comes to refiners, once it's refined, it's practically a brand new gold.
This one is in Switzerland and London also.
The Dubai gold would, for instance, be exported either to London or to Switzerland because you want the stamp Swiss gold on it. Then of course, every bank in the world will buy it.
Not only is Stanley's dirty money cleaned, so is the gold sourced in Zimbabwe.
That is what I call gold laundering. One launders the gold by adding a stamp of approval of a country that makes it marketable.
The undercover team also deals with representatives of the Zimbabwean government. Previously on Gold Mafia, an ambassador offers to smuggle over $1 billion in dirty cash into Zimbabwe under diplomatic cover.
I'm the second largest diplomat in the country. Right now, I can produce a bag like this with 1.2 billion and put a tech region diplomat. That's it.
Nobody can touch it. Nobody can touch it.
Hubert Angel is Zimbabwe's ambassador at large to Europe and the Americas. He's also a self-proclaimed prophet.
I'm very sharp in the prophetic. You don't confuse me when it comes to the prophetic. No, I walk there, I live there, I talk there, I sleep there. I'm Major B. I know me. Trust me, when it comes to the prophetic, I eat prophecy. Guess what happens?
Angel claims he announced beforehand the result of an African Cup of Nations final.
The underdogs will be the winners. You will be so surprised. Do we have Senegal? Oh, we have one reason. Brother, stand up. Rejoice.
About 9 hours after the prophetic decree went forth, Senegal surprised everyone by winning the final for the first time ever.
For history, for Senegal!
One of the men organizing Mr. Stanley's money laundering also assists Angel at his church.
Did you know I was a singer too?
No, no, you didn't say you were a singer. You didn't say you were a singer.
How many hours? Online.
But God has stretched out to heal us. This I know. This I know.
Wow.
This I know. This I know. Just one touch from the King changes it.
Ricky Doolan is from the northeast of England. He's related to Ambassador Angel through marriage. He's known as Pastor Ricky.
Jesus gonna rock this place. I gotta hear the left side rock this place.
I love to minister. I love to minister. It's nice. Better than singing in a club or a nightclub or entertainment. It's different.
I really can't hear you. Jesus gonna, my Jesus gonna.
To do that alone. Everything perfect. Perfect, everything.
We're gonna show you something.
Wow, good.
Johnny presents Doolan with a fake proposal for a $1.2 billion casino resort. It would be constructed overlooking Victoria Falls, one of the 7 wonders of the natural world.
Wow, this is nice. Great Zimbabwe integrated casino. You want to call it Great Zimbabwe? The actual place. You want to build this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we can.
Of course.
Do we have space?
There's a lot of space. So these things are hotels. This is the casino.
Doolan believes the casino would please Zimbabwe's president, Emmerson Mnangagwa. A meeting with the president is being arranged for the undercover team.
This goes perfectly in line with the vision of the number one. They want it to be a tourist destination. It's a tourist attraction. People. Just when you are engaging with high-end people.
Doolan has a vision for the future guests of this fictitious casino.
Go on the safari, enjoy the wildlife, We've also got land for hunting. A lot of high-end people like hunting.
He thinks he could sell them gold as well.
We'll facilitate the person investing in gold while they're there. So it's a leisure trip, it's a business trip, it's everything they want. Dubai started exactly like this. Somebody with money saying, there's an opportunity here. Let's build a few buildings. And look at Dubai now. I honestly believe in my heart of hearts, Zimbabwe can become like Dubai.
Dubai is one of the biggest gold hubs in the world. 20 to 25% of the world's gold goes through Dubai. It's over a $70 billion industry.
Amjad Rihan worked in Dubai for the global accounting firm Ernst & Young. In 2013, he audited the UAE's largest gold refineries. Rihan's audit of Kaluti and another large Dubai refinery, Al-Ittihad Gold, is scathing.
It's the biggest two refiners who handle about 80% of the refining market share. They are rated non-compliant, high-risk, dealing with sanctioned countries or conflict gold.
The refinery can produce 1,000 kilograms of 999.9% gold per day.
Kaluti is the biggest, with around 50% of the refining market share, and in fact, one of the biggest globally. So the team started doing their audit, interviewing people, and doing site visits, and they started discovering some shocking, disturbing violations. We found that Kaluti was doing over 5.2 billion US dollars in cash in 1 year. That represents about 40% of Kaluti's business done in cash. When you think about 5.2 billion, you're talking about 100 million a week. That's a huge number. And to be done in cash, that raises a lot of suspicions. We concluded that Kaluti's due diligence management system is a huge failure. I mean, it's not functioning effectively.
Ernst & Young accepted Rihan's findings, but ordered him to work with the Dubai authorities.
To my shock, instead of supporting me and backing me up, they instructed me to help the Dubai regulator and the Dubai refiners.
Rihan refused to go along with the plan and resigned.
I felt it's unsafe for me to challenge the decisions made and to actually do my job properly, whilst the regulator, the refiner, and EY, all of them are not supportive of what I say. I would be at odds with very powerful people and entities in Dubai, and I would have been at a great risk.
Rihan brought a claim in a London court against EY, which is headquartered in Britain. The judge ruled the auditors had tried to sweep under the rug the findings of Kaluti's money laundering. EY also bowed to pressure from the Dubai authorities.
Ernst & Young did not debate our findings. They couldn't. We had objective evidence. We had strong documentary evidence, and they couldn't, argue with us about our findings.
EY paid Rihan $11 million in damages. Dubai authorities removed Kaluti from their list of approved refineries. The company rebranded and is now named MTM&O. Having access to refineries is central to the Mafia's ability to launder money through gold.
Then it has a certificate, and then the money is washed and cleaned and is turned into a legitimate asset.
Patney uses 4 refineries in Dubai.
I view the list.
The list includes 2 that failed Rihan's audit: MTMNO, formerly Kaluti, and Al Ittihad.
The gold refiners are the most important point in the gold supply chain. Without the refiner doing a good job ensuring that they scrutinized the supply chain and they covered the risks in the supply chain, it's so difficult for those after the refiner to do that job. The refiner's job is critical in ensuring that the gold before refining is clean.
A decade after Rihan's audit, the I-Unit discovers a continued lack of concern in Dubai about the origin of gold.
I just fly there and return next morning because I just drop it and then there's no problem. Custom is waiting for me.
Alec Yassini is part of a network of private couriers who smuggle cash and gold in and out of Dubai. He thinks he's being interviewed for a job working for Mr. Stanley. He describes his skills.
What do you mean? So you bring
moving things in and out from Dubai, metal, gold, diamonds, and stuff like that. You pay a certain amount of $120 for whatever package you have, even if any amount, or even 10 kg, 2 kg, whatever, just pay 120. Custom, then you're in.
He also moves large amounts of cash.
$1 million, it's no problem. But if it's more than 2, 3, then I have to make a letter from that side. So they don't give me a hassle. I know how to deal with that. It's not a big issue.
Yassini forges paperwork himself.
I do the papers. If you don't have the license, I know how to do it. When I get into Dubai, straight to the customs, I've got the papers, I fill in the forms. There's no risk at all.
I'm not surprised to hear that. There's very little scrutiny in Dubai. The rules are very relaxed. There aren't many checks done to verify the origin of gold.
No, it's not a big issue. There's no risk at all.
The audits we completed confirm what this man you interviewed has said, that Dubai is a hub for dirty gold, gold used in money laundering or gold fueling conflict. Dirty gold, in my opinion, has very easy access to Dubai.
Rihan still has the data provided by Kaluti as part of its audit. We asked him to search Kaluti's list of suppliers for companies linked to the gold mafia.
I'm just looking at those who did humongous amounts of cash with Kaluti, and I see Goldrest is here.
Goldrest Resources had a subsidiary in the UAE. Its director was ALLSTAR Matthias. He's designing a laundromat for Mr. Stanley's dirty cash. He's a financial architect for corrupt politicians.
They've done over 16 million US dollars in cash with Kaluti. So he's a relatively substantial supplier of Kaluti.
Matthias works with another gold mafia boss, Ewan McMillan.
Thank you for coming.
McMillan regularly moves gold in and out of Dubai.
I need to send the guy first class, and he gets 50 kgs luggage. It all comes out of Dubai. It's all Dubai, 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 Dubai.
Macmillan is bidding to launder Mr. Stanley's $100 million. He's a Zimbabwean smuggler, known as Mr. Gold.
So you'll have to set up a company in Dubai.
You're going to help them?
That's going to be the finance or trading company. So you're going to tell the bank that we're going to be trading in commodities or gold. So that's where the money will come to that account all the time. Use one of the local banks.
The United Arab Emirates has free zones to encourage international trade.
Just set up a company in one of the free zones. I'll tell you which ones also. The one I use, I pay about $10,000 every year. Depending on the size of your office, you get minimum 3 visas, 5 visas, 10 visas, depending how many you want. That's the easiest.
It's to fly with $2 million in a suitcase, land in Dubai, walk in there and say, I want to declare it. And say, right, they charge me $20 equivalent.
And they won't check, right? They won't check company name.
They don't bother.
Miss Sin is another undercover reporter. She's posing as Mr. Stanley's financial advisor.
I used to fly from Zambia, 50 kgs of gold and $2.5 million cash. Arrive, put the gold in, sign that up, take the cash money, pay 20, it was like $20 duty. It's a paperwork. It's what they charge you to do the paperwork.
Yeah, $20 for the documentation.
Yeah. Take the money, you go straight to the Bureau Exchange, they count the $2.5 million, and they transfer it to your bank account. Thanks for coming.
Matthias attempts a due diligence check on Mr. Stanley.
But the money is not related to drugs or arms or ammunition, right?
Do you need to know source?
No. It's not drugs or arms and ammunition. It's not terrorist related, right?
Not this region, no.
Then, okay. Probably commissions, I'm guessing.
In the language of money laundering, commissions means bribes.
No, we don't want to know source of fund. We just want to make sure he's not Pablo Escobar from Hong Kong. He got shot. The guy reverses and follows the car. I think just shot down the road. They showed me all the bullets. He's still got one in his back.
9 shots are fired.
It missed his neck by millimeters. Went through, yeah, no, fine, nothing, no death. I was with him this morning.
The target is Simon Rutland, one of Zimbabwe's richest men. He runs a money laundering operation through his company, Goldleaf Tobacco. They call him the boss.
You have no idea the money this guy has.
Goldleaf is one of Southern Africa's largest cigarette producers.
Since I didn't realize that I'd made so many people angry.
Crazy. So what's happening?
He posted 10 million for information. Rand. That's $1 million. Just throw it out there. You don't have $1 billion in your bank account and can't fight back.
Previously on Gold Mafia, Rutland makes a fortune from illicit cigarettes. He sells them on the black market in South Africa without paying taxes. It's money he needs to launder.
He has a very big problem. He's an illicit cigarette trader. He's the biggest in South Africa. The illicit cigarette trade earns Rand cash, so he gets a ginormous amount of Rand cash. How does he legitimize it?
An I-Unit surveillance operation follows couriers working for Rutland. They carry gold to Dubai. It belongs to the Zimbabwean government.
The same flight they left with, that's the same flight that they come back with. EK713 when it's leaving Dubai. Someone has got serious buyers in Dubai already.
The couriers exchange gold for cash and take the next flight back to Harare. The buyer in Dubai is All In Global Trading. Documents obtained by the I-Unit reveal Orlean receives the profits of illegal cigarette sales, worth millions of dollars. Orlean uses this money to buy gold from Zimbabwe's central bank. Orlean is the gold leaf mafia's hub in Dubai. While Simon Rutland controls the funds, documents name HJ or Howie Baker as a director of Orlean.
Simon brought everything to the table along with Howie. Howie was the glue keeping everyone together.
Daoud Khan was once a part of the money laundering operation. He's speaking to the I-Unit from a safe house.
Simon and Howie are basically, they've got their hand on almost every transaction.
In October 2018, Prodigy Trading, Baker's Hong Kong company, buys shares in a Dubai-based gold trader, Empress Bullion. The following month, Rutland's couriers deliver Zimbabwean gold to Empress. Gold export certificates from the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe legitimize the money laundering operation.
You've got Howie, Simon, that is conducting certain conversations in Zimbabwe with government officials, looking at it, ensuring the support of government structures, reserve bank structures, and custom structures within Zimbabwe. Simon Rutland dictates to the Zimbabwean government to a certain extent on what needs to be done and how it needs to be done.
Empress is a favored trading partner for gold smuggler Alec Yassini.
I've been buying from them for some time.
He shows the undercover team invoices for gold sales.
This is the Empress. That's Empress again. There's another one also. This is 9 million. It's Empress, I think this is the best.
Howie Baker is a director of both Empress and Orlean. His partner at Orlean is Andres Gravenstein, who's been convicted for illegal gold dealing. Gravenstein and Baker were also partners in a South African precious metals company, the Gold Kid Trading. Gold Kid operated from offices in a residential suburb of Johannesburg.
You've got a very casual or tranquil working space. Andres, Howie, and on few occasions Simon was there. In these discussions, it was basically now how to move funds out, utilizing gold. You've got Simon on the top. You've got Howie as the middleman between everyone, almost as the COO of the Mafia. And you've got then Andres, who's maybe chief sales officer.
Daoud Khan's brother, Mohammed, then joins the operation.
You've got Mohammed, who's the chief financial officer for this Mafia. That's how, when they are all sitting around the table, they believe themselves to be in that hierarchy. However, outside that room, you've got a Simon that still believes he is top dog. You've got Howie that believes, I'm top dog. And you've got Mohammed, who believes without him, no one could be who they are. He is the master. Mohammed believes he's the God amongst them. There is no other way to put it, and I'm saying God because he believes he can create or break these individuals. He controls their finances. So he believed he was key in every aspect.
Mohammed Khan is one of South Africa's most prolific money launderers. He has a street name.
Of course I know Mo Dollars. I was married to him.
Wada Latif enjoyed an opulent lifestyle.
He used to give me diamonds in front of people. I get black diamonds. I just get whatever I want. That was my power.
Latif travelled with her husband on regular trips to Dubai.
I used to stay at the Burj Al Arab. I used to stay at Jumeirah Madinat. So I had personal chefs running around me the whole day, every day.
Mo Dollars launders money here.
Money gets dropped off, and then he requests the new dollars. Brand new crispy dollars. I only use new dollars. Cash. So gold we buy cash, bags, everything, shoes, we buy cash. So there's no trail. When I go to Dubai Mall, I have gold trolleys behind me. The people in Louis Vuitton in Dubai, they know me by name. Whatever I see, whatever I like, I buy. Only bags and shoes and gold and... I just buy and buy and buy. It was just mad. Mad.
A short drive from the mall where Latif shops is Jumeirah Lake Towers, Dubai's commodities trading hub. Gold Tower is the address for Orlean Global Trading, the company at the centre of Rutland's money laundering scheme. It's in the same tower as Precious Bullion, where Mr. Stanley visited Kamlesh Patni and was told to set up a company to launder money. The I-Unit obtains documents that show the Gold Leaf Mafia uses Orlean in another money laundering scheme. The Gold Kid Trading enters an agreement to buy gold from Orlean. It's an order from a client from outside South Africa. Gold Kid employs Mo Dollars asset management company, PKSA, to loan it money to finance the gold buying. This allows PKSA to send payments abroad. It appears to be a normal business relationship between two gold trading companies.
That looks like a legitimate contract and a process, banking transactions, but ultimately they're washing the money. Through a legally binding contract, it's put on a piece of paper. They're legitimizing the money on paper. They're moving the money amongst themselves. You've got gold kids who's Mohammed, Howie, Simon, Andres, creating a paper trail through a contract with a company in Dubai, which is Orlean. Orlean is Howie, Mohammed, Simon, and even Andres, all benefiting from the incomes generated.
Well, that's very suspicious. If you have the same person on both sides of a transaction, it is highly likely that it is a fake transaction, that it doesn't make economic sense.
What you're talking about is trade-based money laundering, and that is the hot topic of today. Trade-based money laundering costs countries millions of dollars every year in tax revenues, but the most concerning part of it is, of course, the fact that it's used to move dirty money and to legitimize illegal proceeds from criminal activity.
Spirit Embassy, attention! We shall win souls everywhere!
Hubert Angel is Zimbabwe's presidential envoy. He addresses international audiences on bringing foreign investment to Zimbabwe, free from corruption.
People-to-people diplomacy is increasingly viewed as an antidote to moral and political cannibalism, as it enables individuals to trust in each other to facilitate, manage, and drive investments with little or no corruption or demands for bribes.
That guy doesn't take bribes. Oh no. No, one. There's a big difference in appreciating somebody and bribing. You know, at this level, people don't bribe nobody. You get my point? Yeah, people do, right? But there is somebody that's saying, Thank you for everything that you were doing for us, and big difference. Because he is just not that kind of a person.
Angel and his sidekick, Ricky Doolan, have asked undercover reporters to pay $200,000 in exchange for a meeting with President Mnangagwa.
His election, I think they're spending $240 million US. And that's his money. It's not somebody else, it's not the party, it's his money. So when somebody's got that money to spend on, you give him 1 million, it's like a slap in the face. Unless you say, it's just to thank you.
The meeting with Mnangagwa will secure a deal to launder over $1 billion of dirty cash. Doolan tells Mr. Stanley what to expect.
Obviously, once we get the ball rolling, there'll be points and times along the way where people will need to be greased. Ministers, different guys, But in a country like what we're talking about, and all across Africa actually, it's the only way to get things done smoothly. It won't be too painful. It will just be a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. We'll tackle them as we go along. It won't stop the project. Once it's rolling, it's rolling. Once we've made a promise to the president, we have to execute. One way or another, It's now just a case of speed and efficiency because we need it to move fast.
Mr. Stanley is told that Angel needs to be paid too.
Bending over backwards, calling the president, talking to the president. He's arranged a meeting for you already. Ambassadors have been appreciated.
Alistair Matthias controls companies in Switzerland, as well as Dubai and across Africa. They provide cover for money laundering.
I do it here more for track record, because if I have an existing business here, then source of funds is just not a problem. So that's why I have setups everywhere. Whatever is like gray area, I take it to Dubai. So like Ghana was the biggest at one point. I was doing 1 ton, 1.5 ton every month, so about $40 to $60 million every month.
Wow.
I was exporting out of Ghana.
Matthias is preparing a financial structure to launder Mr. Stanley's money. He tells undercover reporter Miss Sin to be careful with her language.
We have all the money that we need to clean and
You say that word. You should just say it's money you need to move.
Sorry.
You should never say I need to clean all the time.
You don't say this here, no.
Say you need to move it from here to there. That's better that way.
To avoid detection, Matthias controls gold supply chains by owning companies that he places in other people's names.
If I have a chain, mine, refinery, this, and I own everything start to finish, it doesn't look good. I'm selling to myself, and selling to myself, and selling to myself. You follow? It causes issues with tax authorities sometimes. They'll say, oh, you're just transferring profits to one country. So I have to keep different entities. I own all the companies in different entities.
These include several gold refineries.
The refinery in Dubai is held by a friend of mine in trust for me. But all my refineries are private. I don't open it to the public. I just do my own refining, my own production, my own this thing and stuff like that. I can do about 150 kilos a day.
He suggests using his refineries to launder Mr. Stanley's money directly.
You can pay it through the refinery,
Can we bring cash to your refinery?
Yeah. But I'll play with the paperwork. I'll make it look like you gave me gold or something like that. Keeping it on deposit. Then you tell me, sell the gold. And I sell the gold, so you have cash in your account. You do everything on the computer.
Owning a refinery makes the money laundering process less detectable.
Yeah, it moves much to the one where everyone, for the most part. See, the best thing with gold is cash. Gold is cash. It's better than any currency. As long as you're on gold trading, you can move money anyway.
The Gold Leaf Mafia seeks control of its own refinery.
Simon Radler. He's bought a massive refinery in South Africa. I think he paid 500 million US for it. It's huge money.
Rapper Refinery is purchased by a newly formed company, Rapper Management. The sole director of Rapper Management is Rees Baker Saint. He's also Gold Leaf Tobacco's lawyer, but he's not the real owner. Confidential documents seen by the Eye Unit reveal Rapper's owner to be Howie Baker, a director of Orlean in Dubai.
The fact that they were able to buy a Rapper is problematic. It's a well-known refiner. Why wasn't there more scrutiny over who buys it?
The Gold Leaf Mafia now has full control of its supply chain.
Nothing is left to chance. The control of the refiners, the companies that buy the gold, the companies that sell the gold. There is complete control of all aspects of the money laundering scheme.
And dirty money from South Africa is clean in Dubai.
Dubai has set themselves up for being the middle of the gold trade. The key to being a money laundering haven is two things. Number one is you have to have the financial infrastructure, and they had lax laws and no enforcement. And number two is you have to have the ability to create shell or shelf companies to do business in your country.
We have a few companies which are shells. When you open your account here, we have influence with the funds to open an account in shell companies.
He says his businesses control the supply chain for bringing gold into Dubai, and it all appears legal.
It's got buying source, it's got the import, it's got Dubai document, it has custom document, it has got the exchange, receipts of the money. That it has got a source here, Visa volume, golden luxury.
Patney wants Stanley's money laundering operation to become integrated with his network of companies.
The ongoing, it's like thousands of cars are there. Yeah. We put your cars inside, traveling.
Many of Patney's enterprises are managed by his holding company, Sun Multinational.
This is multinational. We run between 7 countries. What? All countries. Yeah, he controls all the countries. Yeah. Kenya? Kenya, everything. Kyrgyzstan, everything.
Thank you.
After you.
We have 5,380 employees in 12 countries and 35 offices all over. We run about 8 hotels in Kenya and South Africa.
Patney takes the undercover team to another tower named after a precious commodity. On the 7th floor, Rumia Diamonds.
Rumia. So here are the diamonds there. These are rough. Now these from the ground. Rough diamond mine. Rough. Then they cut and polish.
"22 floors up, another of his companies.
It's called Brilliant. So these are the cut and polish. So look, these are the best with certificate.
Undercover reporters are taken downtown to Sunstar Travel. The laundered money can make good returns from tourism in Dubai.
Visa for Dubai for some star. You have a credit line, everything here. They have the list of all the activities in Dubai and the UAE. Zip lining, desert safari, this.
Patney has many ways to invest Mr. Stanley's money.
We have so many
options.
Proposal options.
Yeah.
Even a bank is our investment portfolios.
Next, on the 15th floor, another Patni company. The securities trading firm is registered in a Caribbean tax haven.
We have an online trading platform where we onboard clients who want to trade using our platform technology. We also advise clients on investments and handle the funds.
Samir Jazini is a securities trader. He advises Africa's super rich on how to manage their wealth. His nickname, Africa's Man of Steel.
So I decided to stay in Africa, and where there's blood, there's potential. We build trusts, we build offshore accounts. We have an in-house research team of 5 who work internationally, work globally. We onboard our clients also in international banks. We have high net worth individuals, ultra high net worth individuals. Yeah, so this is where we execute the trades. As you can see also, I always have my mobile, 4 mobiles here, 3 in my bag. Always looking, watching the accounts of my clients.
The companies Mr. Stanley visited form just one part of Patni's global empire.
You don't want it in one place. Our banks are in shells. So all our companies is in thousands. Now you see, it's easy to run all of them. You can't go wrong with the systems in place.
What really sets this apart is the level of control that's been exercised to hedge risks. The best way to hedge risks is you control everything, but you also spread your risk out in multiple locations so that it becomes harder to track your assets, harder to track your ownership. And they've really developed a sophisticated scheme.
I've given you a very broad picture. You are not stuck in one place. You can make your structure like a precious bullion. Whoever you put your shareholders there, you offer it, then it becomes a legitimate operation.
That is the laundromat. It's finished washing.
Like now, then you can invest in what you want.
The undercover team receives bad news.
There's no investors going to number 1 as we speak right now.
Oh, that changed?
Yes, because the information that came from the security, the chief security of number 1, was that number 1 is only meeting other number 1s from around the world.
The proposed meeting with Zimbabwe's president is not happening.
This schedule is not open for investors.
Okay.
That was the information that came through the line before I called you.
Okay.
And that information came through the chief advisor.
I see.
So basically, number 1 is coming in on 1st of November. He's doing all of this crime at what, and he's out on the 3rd.
Right.
Bum, 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 gone.
Right.
Like that.
But suddenly, Doolan suggests the president's schedule could change.
This, what we're talking about right now, is a facilitation to open up that meeting. We're going to execute, we're going to facilitate all of these things taking place. We're going to do that because he shouldn't be getting his hands dirty in executing things, but presenting these ideas to him is still a good thing. He'll say, oh, that's a good idea. Yes, this. Now, back to the main thing that we've not yet addressed. Yes. This thing of appreciation, this thing of facilitation, whatever you want to call it, what are we doing?
Yeah.
In the final episode of Gold Mafia, a new Mr. Gold.
Because Macmillan doesn't control nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
This was his worker cleaning his car.
Yeah.
He is the number one now in Zimbabwe. Right there, he's in his house living on $5 million. Yeah.
And Mo Dollars meets new clients.
This is someone that's really wanted by the FBI, designated as a terrorist, and wanted round the world.